Good afternoon, everyone. We will soon start the post-lunch session. We are waiting for the participants to join and also the keynotes and the session speaker to join. I once again welcome you all. Thank you for your participation. Thank you so much. Ma'am, good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I am good, ma'am. So it's audible and clear.
It is all clear from my end, sir. Please let me know if it is working for you.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine from my end.
All right, sir. So I'll try sharing my screen and let's just see that if it works, we'll be ready to start off.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. You can check once.
So the screen is visible.
Yeah, yeah, visible.
That's
Absolutely fine.
thank you. How are you doing, sir? How's the FTP going?
Good, man, good. This is the third day of FTP, and this is the post-lunch session.
True, sir. Right.
So we'll start exact at 1:30 p.m.
Sure, sir. Sure. So where exactly is this college situated in Jaipur? I've
Yeah,
been there a couple of times as a tourist only. So
okay. Actually, it's on the outskirts of Jaipur when you are going from Jaipur to Sikar. So it's some 25 kilometers from Jaipur.
all right. And Sikka, you mentioned this is like another city outside of.
It's another district in Rajasthan,
Okay.
right? So it's when we go from Jaipur to Sikar. So it's on the way, it's on the highway itself.
Great, sir.
Come
Because there,
and
yeah.
we'll invite you for your session physically in our campus.
Great, sir. Because nowadays we are actually at SGT also. We are starting off with the offline sessions because online bahut ho gaya. It's more like, okay, fine, let's bring in the experts. Let's have discussions in person now. Although this is good medium because it gives you the flexibility of being wherever you are. So
Right,
both, I think both have their own positives.
right. True. That's true, man.
Yeah. Just let me know, sir, whenever we are ready to start off.
Yeah. So just to brief you, ma'am, like we nearly 150 participants will be there
Okay.
in a couple of minutes, like in 3-4 minutes,
Okay.
and altogether 250 participants have registered for this faculty development program.
Okay.
And we have faculty members from all across India who are participating in this faculty development program.
All right, sir.
Uh,
So
okay,
can
ma'am.
you help me if I want to see the chat here, where I would be able to see the chat?
Go in the more section, ma'am, and there you will find chat.
Okay. Yeah, it's there. It's there.
In chats, you will find.
Got it, sir.
You can interact with the faculty members directly, like you can talk to them, they can unmute themselves, and then they can
All right.
reply to you.
That is what I was thinking. Would it be something that is accessible to them, or is it going to be that they can only chat?
No, ma'am.
I actually wanted to know.
It's in, you can interact.
Okay.
You can interact with.
Great, sir, great. Just let me know whenever we are good to start. We'll start off, sir.
Yeah, ma'am. We are ready to start now. Okay.
All right, sir.
Okay. So, good afternoon to one and all present here. I welcome you all to the post-lunch session of the third day of Faculty Development Program. The eminent speaker for this session is Ms. Arvinder Kaur, Master Coach and Lead SGT University, Gurugram. Ma'am, I take this opportunity to welcome you and thank you for being the resource person for this session. Thank you so much, ma'am, for
Thank you, sir.
accepting our invitation and taking out your time for this session. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I once again welcome you, ma'am. Now, before I hand over session to you, I would like to introduce you to all the August audience present here. So Ms. Arvinder Kaur, she is a master coach and lead, and she is currently working in SGT University in Gurugram. She is a certified master coach from internationally reputed Rule the Room trainings. She is working in SGT University since 2015. She has altogether 14 years of coaching, training, and mentoring, and specialization in soft skills and behavioral trainings. She is an ELT specialist and a certified CELTA professional from Cambridge University. She is, she is an expert in workshops of team building, business writing skills, and teaching methodologies. Her areas of interest in research are posthumanism, dystopian studies, feminism, and gender studies. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being with us. And we are really glad, and we feel fortunate to have you with us on this platform. Welcome to you, ma'am. And over to you, Ms. Arvinder Kaur, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. At the onset, let me thank University of Engineering and Management for giving me this opportunity. And along with that, I need to thank Dr. Mukesh Yadav as well. So I don't know how the links work, but then yes, this is one opportunity where I feel that we will be at least able to exchange notes, we'll be able to talk to each other, understand. I'll try and share my insights, and from all the faculty members who have joined us here for this particular session, I would request you, I know you've had your lunch, and I hope everyone has had that first. So I would like you to be there with me, and I would like to make it as much as possible into the interactive mode, because when we talk of the soft skills, or you talk of anything that is beyond the hard skills, it doesn't really naturally work for me if it is not really interactive. So I request you all to be there with me through the next 1.5 hours that we talk to each other. So having said that, if we look at the theme that we have, if we look at the overall evolution of how education is changing over the times, 21st century and 20th century, it is very clear. Even along with that, I am going to specifically focus on to the soft skills that are post-pandemic requirement more. They were there initially as well, but the way the students or the learners were impacted by it, or the way the teachers or facilitators, they were the ones who were disseminating the knowledge, there has been a huge leap, and there has been a huge advancement, evolvement. I wouldn't say it is different, it has just evolved into a different being. So I'm going to take a look at it, because now the classrooms have evolved from just one teacher centric, it has become student centric. There are of course certain instances when we need to keep it teacher centric, when a certain core knowledge needs to be given, but even then, when it is teacher centric, even when it is student centric, there are certain approaches that are coming up that need to be inculcated, keeping the uh, current scenarios in mind. So what I am going to do today, I'm going to attempt to do today, is going to divide my talk into two portions of soft skills. One is, it is understanding the learner's profile, how they have evolved, what their current profile is, what is thought process, how we understand and decode what they have done. Because being into communication, I think decoding comes very naturally to me. Everything needs to be decoded first and foremost before it can be put into what we need to do, that kind of an action plan. So for that, we are going to divide it into two parts. One part is going to be the student-centric, understanding the learner profile. And second part is going to be how we as educators can become facilitators, can become enablers for that learner profile that has changed in the 21st century, and more so post the pandemic thing. So it is majorly, I'll be trying to work around these two themes for us. So if we, with your permission, if we are ready to start off, I would like to start it off. The next first slide that I would like each one of you to go ahead and read this and just tell me into the chat box. You can put it down there. Otherwise, because people speaking simultaneously sometimes becomes a little bit of a challenge to keep the focus going. So you have on your screen a question that I would like you to have put in your answer to. Who has a longer attention span? Is it the goldfish or is it the 21st century learner? All right, Goswami sir, thank you for putting it in. I'm waiting for others to let us know as well. What do they think who has a better attention span? I would request everyone to please join us in here so that we can take this forward. I agree, Usha ma'am, that is true. So let's quickly see what it is. What do others believe to be? All right, 5 seconds more. I'm just expecting few more inputs from your side that we can have who has a better attention span. It is very centric to our learners. It is very centric to our learners. Fair enough. Here is what we say, the chart that tells us earlier, whatever the span was, what the goldfish, earlier we used to say that, yes, Nirmala ma'am. Yes, Shantivam, both of them, they do need a knock. Earlier, there used to be jokes. If somebody was not really able to go ahead and concentrate on a topic or something, they used to say, oh my God, even goldfish is better than you. But now today's world has come down to the stage where an average span of a human's attention is around 8.25. To be precise, it is around 8.25. That if that is the kind of attention span that we are looking at, that actually puts a lot of pressure, not only as educators, as parents as well, because I saw that Usha ma'am has written our kids. Actually, they are our kids. We own them up in a wholly, what do I say, wholesome way. So when that span is shorter, uh, the only can we look into the reasons why they are, like one Usha ma'am has already put in that it is due to the distractions. What can ma'am you elaborate? You can speak up to me or you can write it here. When we are saying there are too many distractions, what is it that we have in our mind when we are saying they have too many distractions? Yes, right, that's right. One is mobile. Right, yeah. I would encourage everyone to start putting in their thoughts in here, where whatever you feel is the reason why there are so many distractions, why the attention span is less. So generally what happens is we tend to blame it onto the mobile. We tend to blame it just onto the peer pressure. Multitasking, yes, yes, that is right, Dr. Vijaya. So multitasking, what is exactly in your mind when we say multitasking? Sitting in the class and maybe busy on the mobile, the social media, if that is the definition that you have, I would heartily agree with it. Right. Too many works to be completed. That is the social pressure that we are building up on them. Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right, ma'am. That's right. Ma'am, there is a terminology that we have in psychology. It is called the paradox of choice. That is also a major reason. Paradox of choice, as in there is so much that is there to be seen, to be opted out from, so much to be chosen from. Like even if I want to go ahead, say I say how to switch on a laptop. If I want to find an answer to a simple task like this, if I go online, I will find hundreds of answers that will be there. This is a simple example of one task specific to my mind that I have at that point of time. So the paradox of choice is when I'm looking at it out of the entire gambit, what is it that I choose? I keep flitting across from one to second to third to fourth to fifth, because the number of things that are available in front of me, it is like a buffet spread in front of me, and I'm not able to go ahead and taste each and every one of them. But then I do have that greed in my mind, and I have that curiosity how that particular dish is looking, or it's looking yum. Is it going to taste yum as well? So all those kinds of things, that is a paradox of choice that our learners have. Not just learners, everybody in the world really has. Today we are going to try and limit it to our learners. So it is, so much of that is there. Along with that, what we generally term as a brain fog. Brain fog happens, lack of sleep, and lack of sleep could be because of course they have so many things to do. They are restless souls, and they yesterday only a teenager was talking to me. The teenager, when I said, oh please chill, it is just 5 months that you are looking ahead of you and everything will sort out, you know, the kind of answer I received was that, ma'am, for you it is 5 months, for us it seems like it is 5 years. So they're in so much of hurry. They want to have each and everything that is being served in front of them. That has resulted in the reduced attention span. And now when we are talking of reduced attention span, uh, this reduced attention span, what do you think it is leading up to? Should it be something that should make us teachers insecure about what we are teaching? Are we trying to compete and fit in our teaching according to the attention span of the teachers? Is that what we are really looking at? So before we answer that question, another choice that I really want you to make here. Uh, so when we look into that particular attention span, if we try and meet that attention span, just think of the longest movie that you have watched and you have sort of enjoyed. I remember Titanic was one that I had watched. It was around 3 hours plus at least. And I went ahead, I enjoyed it. I did not really miss or want to move away from there. As compared to that, if you look at, there was a recent release, Bell Bottom. It was good 1 hour shorter. It was just around 2 hours, but then I was not able to go beyond 5 minutes. So it is not just about fighting for that time span. It is also about how we use the tools that are there at our display, that are available to us. And along with that time span that we are looking at, the attention that we want of the youngsters, NEP 2020, it has also brought in a different lateral for us educators, and it has brought a different lateral for our learners as well. Now, these are just the major points that you see in front of you on the screen. It was like multidisciplinary approach. They are no longer, if I have been a student of humanities, I can choose to be in engineering for my undergrad. I'll just have to make up for the credit. And along with that, when I'm studying engineering, I can opt for so many courses that are maybe management based, maybe they are psychology based, maybe they are medical based, or they are mass communication based. And the second thing, of course, you can move out anytime that you feel that, yes, I'm done with my education till this particular level. Now I want to focus on, say, maybe want to be there in the market, earn some money, be an entrepreneur, whatever. So it can be a diploma, it can be a certificate, it can be a complete degree, or it can proceed further for our PhD. So there are multiple exit points that are possible. The student has a tool through which he or she can decide whether I want to continue with this very institution, or I want to make a lateral shift to somewhere else where I find my targets, my learning areas, they are being better catered to. And of course, the last one, that is, there are many more pointers. I'm just picking up few from them. And the next one is that we can take up multiple degrees simultaneously. We can take them up. So if that means MIT, I believe they have already started it off. So when we are looking into these kinds of things, this is a second lateral that has come in, that has further muddled, or what do I say, it has created a different set of requirements, getting into research, getting into implementation of the NEP. This is something that academicians wanted. They wanted this freedom to be there for themselves, because they would like to collaborate for research across different domains. Everything they were looking forward to, but it has its own set of challenges till the time we do not become acclimatized and proficient in disseminating this and applying it for ourselves. Now let's move forward. Shorter content, that is what I said, that when we are fighting for attention of the learner, do we make it shorter? Do we keep it in the zone? But then the example, Bahubali is another example. If we go into Bahubali, I watched it and I can watch it again on the rerun. Whereas there are a number of forgettable movies that I actually moved out of the theater within 5-10 minutes. I couldn't stand it. So it is the quality, it is the thirst of the learner here that we are focusing on, not on trying to have a rat race with them. And so when we want to do that, let's just look at two aspects here. First, we understand, and then we understand the tools that we can bring in to understand and bring in a viability about what the learners are. I would like you to first into the chat quickly put in, what do you think are the characteristics of a 21st century learner post pandemic? That is the key word here. What do you think are the characteristics that they are displaying these days? We are all interacting with students on daily basis. What are the characteristics that they are displaying these days based on your observations, whatever it is? May I request you to please share it in here? Right, attention is one core, of course. More selfishness, right? That is a lot. There is a lot going on. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, technically they are very, very strong. Yes, Sushama, health is actually going for a toss. It is going for a toss for the youngsters, even for the teachers or the facilitators, I would say, because they also have to sit equally long hours to make it meaningful for the interaction for them. Yes, that's right. Anything else that comes to your mind? Now, if we look at it, everything that we have put in here, we are talking about the concentration, the ability to focus, the time span for which they are focusing, that is one of them. Peer pressure of keeping up with the trends, yes, of course. People are they are comparing what smartwatch you're wearing, what kind of brand you're carrying in terms of your phones, what shoes you're wearing. These are the things, but then more than that, the technological aids have become more of a competition area now these days. Attitude in itself might be a neutral term, but yes, Vijaya ma'am has explained it, that people, I read one more place, yes, Vijaya ma'am, that's right, people they've become more self-absorbed. I wouldn't say self-centered, because they are sitting at home, they are uh, studying from a desk table where they are the lone learner. Although into the virtual class, they might have n number of people with them, but then that the adjustment, the negotiation that is desired or needed every day, that they have to do once they are, say, into the offline mode, that was something that was majorly missing. And 2 years is a long time for them to form habits that have become really something that they've started taking for granted. So to reorient them, to give them a certain understanding of what it is to be in the offline, and as well as be a digital citizen, it is going to be a task for us. Yes, that is at the center of what we want. More dependent on internet content, yes. Technically strong, that is because they are so very open to technology. They are technically extremely strong. Yes, they are easygoing. That's right, ma'am. So here are few of the things that I have outlined. They are not by any means the list that I might be sharing, certain issues that I might be sharing. They are not going to be the exhaustive list, but they are a good pointer over what it is that a new learner looks like these days. If you look at it, you will see it is overexposure. When we are saying that they're more dependent on internet content, when we are saying that they are technically strong, when we say that internet is one of the distractions, it is overexposure, the over availability of things that they can get into, shorter attention span, lack of focus, psychological stress. We talk about them being self-centered, we talk about them being a little too self-absorbed, but the psychological stress that they're building up, because when you are into the offline mode, you are still going ahead, talking, running around, playing, jesting, joking, chatting, that takes out a little, takes out the steam from here. You go poof, all right, for a few moments you're off, you come back and you're ready to fight the stress again. But that is something that is building up these days far more as compared to what it was earlier. Accessibility, and there are few who do not. There is a huge economic divide also that we need to look at in terms of new learners. Earlier, if you're into the classroom, even if I do not have a very sturdy laptop with me, I do not have a laptop, I could still function. I could go to the library, I could go to the labs, I could be there in the education institution and go ahead and complete my learning there. But then this post-pandemic thing has forced people to invest. The people who were not able to, rather than doing anything else, they've had to take loans to invest into a device, a PC or a laptop that they can carry. And if they are buying it or not able to buy it, that is a huge economical divide also that we are looking at. Now, lack of excitement, too many choices. As you said, they have become easygoing. Very true. They've become very easygoing. They just want to sit and lounge around and not carry anything. Oh, I have my laptop. Oh, I have my phone. I'll be able to access everything. They've forgotten how to make notes. They do not. I think that memory of how a pen works is something that is becoming far off for them. MCQs have become a norm for them. And they have become so used to the digital anonymity. Like, for example, today as well, if we look into all the profiles of people, everyone is a facilitator. But then we see that everybody's cameras are off, right? The cameras are off. Here it might be because of the bandwidth limitation and everything, it has been limited. But then even if when we have the choice, we have to face it, even if we have the choice, we generally feel good while the camera is off. We do not want to switch it on, and the learners are more so, because it allows them to do the multitasking that we were talking of. So multitasking is, oh, assignment is incomplete, let me complete it now. Multitasking is, oh, there's a game going on, let me go ahead and become a part of it now. So those kinds of things, that is what is leading to the digital anonymity and aloofness or distance from others. That is another profile that we are talking of. These are the characteristics or in the softer domain. Of course, if you talk from the academic perspective, when you talk about it from the psychological perspective, there are many more. What I have tried focusing on is when we are looking at a learner from a soft skills angle, these are the things that come in together, and they play a huge role in defining how they learn, in defining how they react and interact with us. Here, if we look at it, you will see that World Economic Forum, sorry, it has started emphasizing that earlier it could be, oh, how good you are at memorizing, how good you are at reproducing what you have memorized. It was about going and picking up books. It was about answering the questions that are asked from you. But eventually, overall, over the next few years, and generally what we are propagating in the education or academia is 2030 is where we are looking at. And we are looking at 2030. So according to the World Economic Forum, these are the skills that are topmost. And these are called the higher order skills. They are not the simple skills of acquiring knowledge. It is beyond that. It is what, given that everyone, say, for example, has studied till the undergraduate engineering, say in computers, they have all done it. What is it that is the differentiating factor for them? If I have a batch of 90, out of those 90, they would have all done tick mark to all those technical subjects. What is it that is going to make them different, stand out? Is this is what is going to be. It is okay if a person does not know a certain programming, I can teach them within a month's time or 2 months time. But if somebody has a basic ethic or morality issue, I will be finding it tough to teach them. If I have somebody who does not know how to solve problems, how to look at the issue, how to be more open-minded, it is going to become tough for me to train them. So attitude versus aptitude, if we look at it. So attitude is something that takes longer time to train or to improvise on as compared to aptitude. Aptitude is something that you can define. You can say a year's time and this will be done. 1 month's time, this is something I'll acquire. MS Excel, this child doesn't know, student doesn't know, or the employee doesn't know, go. This is the particular setup, do it, and within a week's time you're proficient, come back and apply. It is simpler to teach. It is something that is doable. Whereas teaching these skills, it takes time. Another thing that World Economic Forum has said, and that is going to evolve and is going to challenge not only the learner as well as the academia as a whole, is that there is a double disruption going on in the world. Double disruption is, one is, of course, the impact that COVID-19 pandemic has had on the economic condition of the world. How does that economic condition have a disruption for us? Is that it has resulted in a lot of layoffs. It has resulted in so much of dependence on job automation, that both of them put together, they are creating a havoc, because of which we will need what is called higher order skills, because the base repetitive jobs, they will be something that will be handed over to the machines to complete. I'm speaking from Gurgaon, so here we already have so many warehouses where the robots are the ones who are doing the categorization. They are the ones who are settling the stuff. They are the ones who are looking into the details of the logistics. A task that would otherwise would have been done by 10 people, these robots, they do it relentlessly, no payment to be made, and they are far more accurate in that zone. So eventually the job market is going to evolve. Job market is going to evolve into the way so that the learners, they will have to use a higher order skill to go ahead and disseminate. They should be able to research, they should be able to design, they should be able to conceptualize. Whereas the things that are generally being done, a postmaster's job is already out. Majority of it is out. It is already has seen a change. No more mails, emails, right? So that way it is changing. So this is a double disruption that is happening. And how does that double disruption lead over? And what is it that we are going to look into? Look into this I think I'm putting you to small little tasks. Read all the words that are written here on the screen, whatever you can identify with. And may I request you to put it down into the chat box. This is a word cloud in front of you. I would like you to just pick up the few words that you're able to make out that are there and put them into the chat box for us to see what are they. Yeah, that's right. Wonderful. That's right. Yeah. True. I've just put them in here. These are the skills that have been given by the World Economic Forum for the people who are going to get into the employment zone from now onwards into the next coming few years. This is what the job profile requirement will start looking into. If you look into it, uh, barring say technology use and design, barring that, if you look into the rest, it is all soft skills. So the key skills these days, what, as I said, it is the attitude, it is how you look and how you ideate, how you proceed further. That is something that is becoming a challenge for everyone to teach the students, the learners. The learner could be in a school, the learner could be in 12th, learner could be in undergraduation, or could be postgraduate or a PhD. When we are looking into all these profiles, what is required for the upcoming job market, or even if you want to be an entrepreneur, you don't want to work for anybody else, the learner has to be able to go ahead and showcase these skills. Thinking, innovation, learning. Active learning is something that we have to inculcate. Complex problem solving, technology use and design, even that is something that requires your better judgment, that I'm getting into the ethical usage or I'm not, what is falling into which domain. And because they have so many things at their disposal, they have so many self-set targets and so many academically generated targets for them, that it leads to a lot of stress, how to deal with it. If you notice during this pandemic, there was such a huge call off for the psychologists, psychiatrists. The students were reaching out to them, the workers were reaching out to them. Each and every one was under that stress eventually. That is where it is leading up to. So being able to soak in that stress, disseminate it, and continue functioning normally and calmly is a skill that we'll have to teach, we'll have to learn both. We'll have to learn first, because if we are ourselves not able to do that, we won't be able to go ahead and disseminate it to our learners. So this is the kind of the profile that we are looking at for a learner to develop, and this is what they will require to be. One, we have what they, there was an earlier slide where we looked at what they have become. This is a slide where we looked at what they have become, what they are displaying. And here we are looking at what is needed, what is needed from them, what they need to inculcate, what they need to implement once they are out and they are away from the cushioned field of our academics. I always say that academics is a soft jumping pad for them. This is where they can fall, they can get up, they can get hurt, they can do whatever and fall 10 times and still get up. Once you are out into the real world, that is where your real fight will start off. Yes, I see, ma'am, you want to say something? I see a hand has been risen. May I know, do you have a question, ma'am or sir? I guess it is by mistake then. Okay, so as an educator, this is something that you will all be required to do. I call it juggling and balancing and developing your skills. While we are developing our skills, we are ready to disseminate so many other duties. So when we say that this is a world that is changing, the teacher or a facilitator or a faculty member has to rise up to that occasion now. They have to rise up to the challenge. They have to rise up to the opportunity as well. I won't call it a challenge only, an opportunity that gives us a unprecedented time of going ahead and developing ourselves, collaborating and going further, right? So this is what our job is going to be like. I believe that we are all jugglers at the time, and how well we are able to juggle it around is going to reflect on how well we are able to disseminate uh, everything over to our learners, right? To be like, if you want to do all of this, all of these skills that we need to teach to our learners, what is it that we require from the facilitators? I'm just going to bring in few pointers, and please notice that these are all again falling into the soft skill. This is something, it used to be there earlier as well, not to say that it wasn't there earlier, but today's time it requires it far more because of the challenges that are related, that are coming in, and the demands that are being made from the facilitators, as well as the evolving profile of our learners. So looking at the entire setup in front of you, if there is, you can add more. If you want to add more, you can go ahead and add more. If I'm missing something, you can let me know. Because these are the skills that we'll have to go ahead and put it in. Yeah, yes, ma'am. Caring, yes, of course, we have to be. Caring and compassionate is one. Yes, of course. You can add anything that you feel should be there. It's it's our joint exercise. Empathetic, yes. I would say, so when we are saying, or ma'am, when we are saying we need to be caring or we need to be empathetic, lots of time what happens is, to be empathetic, there's a reason, of course. I haven't added it here. It can always come in here. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Social responsibility. True. Very true. We can go ahead and we can actually add all of these as well. They are one way or the other part of when we are looking at as a facilitator. Yes, we need to be empathetic. We need to be compassionate, caring. We need to have a social responsibility and a holistic approach towards education, towards our learners, towards ourselves, right? So just to look at it from one angle, I'm going to give you 4 names here. I request you all to write down 3 physical characteristics. Please understand that I'm looking at 3 physical characteristics for the names of the, for these characteristics that are there on the screen in front of you. When I say ballet dancer, what are the first three things that come to your mind? When I say old man who has cough, what are the first three things that come to your mind? What is it that comes to your mind when I say mountaineer or I say a receptionist? I would give you a 1 minute's time. Please do write it, because this is extremely important for our next step. Everyone, whatever are the first three things that come to your mind when we are talking of these four personalities? Write down the three physical characteristics, please. Ma'am, Pradeep, ma'am, may I request you, everyone, please, I would want you to write the physical characteristics. Yeah. Okay. If you don't mind, please write the character that you have in mind and then the first three things that you have in your mind. If you can collate it together, that will give us a little more old man. Yes. Thank you so much, Pradeep sir. Ma'am, sorry. Maithili ma'am, may I request you to please write in the beauty is for whom? The ballet dancer, old man, mountaineer, or receptionist? So it will help us to put it into perspective if we write the character and then the qualities. All right. Wow, Shanti ma'am. Really like the way you put it in. All right. Wonderful. Shanti ma'am is really giving really beautiful explanations there. Deep ma'am, great. All right. Ballet dancers' flexibility really matters. Yes. Has receptionist? Yes. Somebody has written for the receptionist. Mountaineer? Yes. Okay. Receptionist is somebody who is really perfectly dressed with dramatic kajal. All right. Great. Good health for mountaineer, right? That's right. All right. So now I'm going to give you another question. Everyone who was here, even the ones who have not responded as of now, I want you to write down when you were thinking of any of these four characters in the sequence that they are mentioned on the screen: ballet dancer, then the old man, mountaineer, and receptionist. You can take out the old man because it is very obvious what was the gender that I was looking at. I want you to write down, when we are talking of ballet dancer, we are talking of mountaineer or receptionist. In that sequence, what was the gender that you had in your mind when you were visualizing, thinking, and writing what you were writing here? You can simply write, Pradeep ma'am, you can actually just write in the sequence, whatever was the gender that you had in your mind when you were writing about them. So if you were thinking about ballet dancer, was it a female or was it a male? Okay, got it. Senthil sir has really given a very good description for mountaineer. Short hair, strong arms and legs, and physically extremely fit. All right. Mhm. Just look at all the responses. All the responses that I have received that we can see here into the chat box. Majorly, when we are looking at all the profiles, when I say ballet dancer, something, the image that comes to our mind by default is a female. When we talk of mountaineering, the by default thing that comes to our mind is that of a male member. Receptionist, again, is a domain that is majorly reserved for the females. And now if you go on to online, if you will go online and you will see the that slide actually got I don't know why I'm not able to have it here, but when you go online, the most docile looking person whom you would say that, oh, she might be somebody who might paint or might dance, but then she's a mountaineer. Look at what I'm trying to say is, when we are saying ballet dancer, why can't we go ahead and visualize a male person as a ballet dancer? Why can't we visualize a female as a mountaineer, or a male member at the reception? What I'm trying to bring you to is towards the first thing that is here. I'm trying to bring you towards the bias that we have in our minds, the stereotypes that we have in our minds. We tend to say that we are people who have gender equity at our heart. We are feminists in our approach. We are not the people who are propagating patriarchal society. But then the answers that we have received here, Shanti ma'am, yes, that is true. So that is the smallest exercise and the very simplest one. There are many more exercises. There are many more exercises that help us to go ahead and unearth and make us aware of the kind of biases that we have. I am here in Haryana, right? When I had come in here, that point of time, I moved to Haryana, say around, I think about 10, 12 years back when I walked in here. That point of time, uh, I had one big reservation about moving to Gurgaon. You know what it was? Oh, wahan pe, there are Jats. We have Jats in Punjab as well. So nothing against them, but then I had this image that they are going to be extremely aggressive. So when I came in here, started interacting with people around, and the number of people that I met who were extremely helpful, the ones who were so jovial and so beautiful to interact with, and you have become lifelong friends for me, they are actually the Jats here. So, but then that is something that I realized after I came in here. That was a bias that I had in my mind. So that bias is something that we are not most of the time aware of. So number one, we need to be aware of what are the biases that we are carrying. Sometimes it is a bias that of first day, the student, maybe he was late, he walked into the classroom and he was so lost into making it to the classroom that he did not knock, he did not seek permission, simply walked in and walked towards his or her chair. The student could be somebody who was extremely shy in asking. But what is our general perception that we make about him or her is that this is a very misbehaved child, student. Next time, even before, even without uttering a word, we have framed a idea about that student. And maybe in future interactions, we would be reiterating that until and unless the student takes the initiative and clears it on his or her behalf. So that is the bias that we have in ourselves. So the first thing, anything, for us to be empathetic, for us to be a team player, for us to be a collaborator, for us to be compassionate towards others, everything that we have put in, there's a reason why I have put in the first step for an educator that is required in today's world is to be bias free. Number one is that. And to be free of the bias, this was one exercise, a very simple one. I would want you to now look at these set of questions and just ask for yourselves. And you can put it into the chat box if you want to. If you do not, I'm perfectly okay. But then I really want to have this conversation. I want you to have this conversation with yourself. Do I do this? And this is not something that I'm saying simply from the classroom perspective. It could be in your personal life as well. Are we time and again relying or assigning or giving opportunity to the same set of people? Like, for example, I had a friend whose son used to go to DPS. Earlier he was in MET. He had made a shift to DPS. When he joined DPS, he joined in the 7th standard. So by then, the students who had already been there in the DPS education system, the teacher was already aware of the skill sets of the people, of the 30 people who were already there. This 31st person who joins in is an unknown entity to the teacher. So whatever is being allocated, okay, there is a debate competition, 2 people will go. These 2 are identified, you go. This is a declamation, you go. This is a sports competition, you go. That child, he felt so left out. He said, nobody is giving me the opportunity. Nobody is even asking me what it is that I'm good at. If I do not get an opportunity to display, how am I going to even maybe develop, inculcate, or showcase? Right? So generally, we tend to create our own set of favorite people. We keep on going ahead and being there. That is number one. Number two, when we are being biased, if we are not creating opportunities where the people who were not earlier able to go ahead and perform, they find an opportunity to showcase if they have been working on their skills. So if I want to have good debatees, next time around, let me have a debate within the classroom first and see who are the ones who are really coming up, who are the ones who are studying about reading and exploring the topic, who are the ones who are coming with the readiness, eagerness, who are the ones who are actually able to put together a good case. I should be doing it. But generally, because of the multitude of the responsibilities that we are supposed to be going ahead and sharing, we end up taking the shortcuts. And those shortcuts, they lead us one after the other into the trap of creating those biases and propagating those biases as well. Right? And next, third point, of course, that whom do I include in important discussions while making the decisions? This is another level again. What we did in the previous exercise, what we did here, when we were talking about here, what we did here was we were trying to bring forward just a very base kind of a bias here. Sorry, sorry. I don't know. I just came ahead. Sorry, I wanted to go back. Yeah, here people are saying old man with cough, right? Old man with cough would be bed. Old man with cough would be someone who's very lean. Simply a cough, yeah. I could have a cough. My father is 85 and he's someone who can go ahead and do a 1 kilometer jog without stopping. So there are so many stereotypes around age, gender, religion, your appearance. It could be about the particular state you come from. It could be about what it is that you opt to, who you are hanging out with. So many biases that are there for us. So these are very base ones. Here we are getting a little more nuanced. You're getting a step further. And in fact, there is one particular, what do I say, a test that you can do to uncover your biases. What are your biases that you can uncover? I'm just writing it here. You can go online and complete implicit association test. You can go ahead and uncover. So first thing that we always say is that we need to go ahead and we need to become aware of what are the biases, right? And only then we can go and say that, yes, these are the biases. Now, what do I do? Now, coming back to this slide again. Next two that we are looking at are about being self-aware and proactive. Bias freeness also requires you to be self-aware. It requires you to be proactive as well. So now for that also, I'm just giving you small little task. How many of you are still recommending these are recommending that these are the skills that we should be putting onto our resumes, or you have these terminologies in your resumes? I'm into soft skills, I'm into employability skills trainings as well. This is something that we discuss a lot. You can raise your hands, or you can simply write yes, or you can write no, whichever way you feel. Are we still writing or asking the students that, yes, when you apply for a job, these are a good skills to be put in to the resume? Think about it. So these are the skills that were there now being used still about a decade ago. Now they have become debunked. They are no longer needed. They need to be evolved. And this is what are the evolved terminologies looking like. The point being here that one, you have to be aware of what I am, know what your capabilities are, and be proactive in developing what it is that you need to do to justify and grow along with the evolving market, evolving times, evolving demands. So if we are looking into that particular whole setup, I, being a trainer, I know that I can no longer simply write that I am good in leader, I have strong leadership skills. That is like patting on my own back. But there was a time when this terminology on the resume would look good for someone, for the students who were making a foray into the job market. It used to look good. These days, it is not that. Instead of that, I would like to see that I am committed to this cause rather than saying that, yes, I am a leader. I am someone who is effective collaborator rather than saying I'm a team player. Because collaborations are the zones these days. I could be sitting here and you could be sitting across the world. We could be in entirely different world. NEP is propagating multidisciplinary initiatives. I'm not part of the team as such, but I am someone who knows how to reach out to the people and go ahead, network and collaborate. That is the evolving world, and that is the higher order skill that we are looking at. Being a team player generally means everyone, the way it is decoded is that being a team player is that, okay, fine, I'm someone good, I can go ahead and you give me a task, I'll be completing it along with the people who are working in my team. These days, the idea of a team is evolving, it is dissolving. A new form of team is coming up. So the kind of skills and the kind of vocabulary that we are using, that also has to change. So when we were talking of the bias-free, making ourselves bias-free as well, it has an entirely different segment that is related to first unearthing and then developing a vocabulary that is bias-free as well. We are still hearing people going ahead onto the stage and saying, hello, girl, hello, guys. Girls doesn't even come in, especially when we are using English. A lot of us have strong biases. So this is one level that we need to become aware of. The next skill that needs a lot of development and a lot of focus from our end is a critical thinking and problem solving skill. Now, this skill is easier said that yes, it is needed, but how do we develop it? How do we inculcate it? There are it is an entirely different thing to teach. It is easy for you to observe. It is easy for you to say that yes, I want to develop this particular thing, or the students should have this, or the my prospective employee should have it. But how do we develop it? If you remember when we were growing up, at least that is what used to be in my household, waking up, going to sleep, spending time with my grandparents. My nanny used to say lots of riddles. She would keep throwing those riddles at me. Arvinder, this is what it is. Tell me this, tell me this, tell me this. She would keep throwing it at me off, just like that, randomly. And I was supposed to forcefully look at it, answer anytime, whenever it was required. So sometimes I would be able to solve it, sometimes I won't be able to solve it, but it kept me into the go. It kept me in the flow of the things. I would be forced to exercise my gray cells there and then, make a logical conclusion. Okay, a small little question to everyone. I don't know whether you would be able to answer, you would want to answer or not. I would be happy to see your response here into the chat box. If I say, okay, there's a hen sitting on top of the wall in the morning and is looking east. The wind is blowing from east to west, and the hen is about to lay the egg. Where do you think the egg will fall? I really want your answer in the chat box. Can you give me the answer? I would be happy to see a couple of the answers here, please. Hen is sitting on the wall, a high wall, early in the morning, facing east. Okay, all right. Okay, ma'am, we can have hen. Actually, we have with the rooster as well, I know. Okay, so now, although yes, ma'am, Usha ma'am, I was wrong. I should have said rooster. I don't know. I was thinking hen, that I shouldn't be saying hen, and I ended up saying hen here. That is classic mistake that we make. And Gaurav sir, you gave the right answer. It will fall down and it will break. But then you started thinking again, because just because Usha ma'am had asked a question, and you said, oh my god, oh shoot, it's a hen. Yes, it's a hen. It's supposed to be actually with the rooster, because the rooster does not lay the egg. That was the way it is. I ended up saying the wrong one. So but then I thought, let's see what responses we still get here. So point is, when I give you those details, that it's a huge wall, it's the rooster, it should have been a rooster, rightly. Rooster is sitting there, and there's a wind that is blowing. The rooster is looking towards a certain end. Where is the egg going to fall, and what is going to happen? So what happens in such a thing is, generally what happens is, we start focusing on, okay, out of the whole scenario. Rather than looking into what is important, we start looking into, oh, the egg is most important, where is the egg going to fall? So we start focusing our thought there, and we start looking at what will happen to it, and an answer comes out of that. Whereas the focus here was supposed to be the gender. What is the gender? What is the situation? What is the whole situation about? If it is a rooster, there is going to be no egg at all. If it is a hen, yes, there is going to be a egg, right? So what the point was that there are so many situations that are given to us in which we end up looking at one part of the situation, and we miss out onto the entire segment of the possibilities of understanding what it is in detail, in one by one, and look at it, right? So for that, there are certain tools that are here, because what happens is when we are not able to think about a particular situation analytically, and are not able to take out what is it that is impacting my thought process, that then my critical thinking and my problem solving is going to fall into the ditches there, fall like the egg that the hen laid here. So it is not going to give me a correct answer. I won't be able to go ahead and share it, right, in the meaningful manner. So there are certain tools that will help us critically think and develop that particular skill set for ourselves as well as for our students. So those skills that we are looking at, they are here on the screen in front of you. Like if we are looking at the professional training tools, the ones that are, they can be used into the workspace, they can be used into your undergrad programs, they can be used into the postgrad programs as well, wherever we want them to look into what it is. Like if we talk about the ladder of inference is about step-by-step discovery and solution of a particular topic. Number one would be getting the facts. From facts, you get into what you're thinking, what your thoughts are, how it is evolving, where it is leading you to. So step by step, and at each step, you ask yourself a question. Is this something that is fair? Is this something that is coming across from one of my prior experiences? Or is it something that I'm talking from my point of bias? Whenever, like for me, the internal compass is very strong. If there is something that I feel I'm feeling uneasy while giving a feedback, I always ask myself, is it because the feedback is a little tough, or is it because I myself am not sure about that feedback? If I'm myself not sure, I might as well think about it and then go ahead and share the feedback, right? That is the ladder of inference. The next one is pro charts. So in that, what we generally do is we write down two things. Like for example, if I ask, like in my class, if I do that when we are trying to work on our critical thinking, well, I tell them, okay, fine, as a group, I divide them into groups, and then I ask them, okay, find out one restaurant that you think is the worst possible restaurant, and give me 3 reasons for it. Why do you think it is the worst possible restaurant? And the other set, they will also go ahead and they will identify their worst restaurant, and they'll give me 3 reasons. And then we swap it. We give it to each other. And we say that, okay, fine, now you know what is the worst possible restaurant and why it is worst possible. Then they need to give you why it could be the best possible thing. Like once one set had said that a restaurant in the jungle is going to be the worst thing possible, because we won't have resources, we won't be able to have the food that is continental, they won't have the ingredients that are needed, and a lot of flies and reptiles are going to be there. When it was passed on to the other set, you know what they said? Oh, it is the most beautiful opportunity to dine under the stars. So those are the two perspectives. When we are doing critical thinking, when we are talking about problem solving, this is what we want our students and ourselves to be aware of, to be able to look at a central problem from different perspectives. So pro charts is one. Self-reflection is when, like the example that I shared, that I ask myself, my internal compass, where it is taking me. And similarly, you have the causal models. In causal models, like the one exercise that I generally do with my students, that you can try for yourself as well, and you can try for the students that you are teaching as well. If we ask them to visualize their goals, I ask, give them charts, I give them pencils and colors, and I ask them to visualize your goals and please present on the charts. I'm surprised that generally what I see is I see a heap of money, those dollops of money and dollars that they want to earn. There is a huge big car with some brand marked out, whatever is it that they fancy, and a big, big bungalow kind of a house. That is their goal. Majority of the time, it is their goal. So those are the casual models of visualization. Nobody gives you those smart goals that you're doable goals that you're going to set. Earning this thick a stack of money is not a doable goal in any manner at that point of time. You might end up earning them, but that is not how you are going to represent it. What it is that you want to achieve can be simple happiness, could be about inner satisfaction, could be about a career in a particular place. How you visualize those casual models that we throw around is the question that we ask ourselves, and we ask them to reconsider, make it doable, make it smart, that is achievable, that is time oriented, that is task oriented. Go ahead, look into it and break it down. If you want a house, to have a house, you need to earn. If you want to earn, how are you planning to earn? To earn that, what it is that you want. So you break it down. And that is what is your critical thinking. And that is where they come down to their starting point, and then they start setting the bricks in place, that this is the holistic view that I need to have towards wherever I'm going. These are the professional training tools that can be used in the classroom anytime. And the third one is, of course, the technology enabled ones, that are the ones that we can use to inculcate that critical thinking that we really want for the learners, for ourselves. And this is something that we should be doing on a regular basis to jog our mind, to force ourselves to be away from that image, away from that particular situation. Be objective, not subjective at that point of time, and carry it forward. And that is what I actually say, that we need to find our sweet spot. Now, when we were looking at all those requisites in terms of soft skills, as a person who wants to develop those soft skills, it might not be possible for me to go ahead and have each one of them laid out perfectly for me. But then what we need to do is, first, just like I think Usha ma'am pointed out, that I need to go ahead. Yes, I've become aware of my own bias. Shanti ma'am, sorry, it was Shanti ma'am who said that, yes, I've become aware of that bias. So what we need to do is go ahead and find that spot where you're good with, and go ahead and develop it further. The other thing is identify, uncover all those skills that we are lagging behind with, and then go ahead and do one small little bit where we can first become aware, and second, we can take those corrective steps to proceed further. All those skills, like if we want to take up creative critical thinking, it is actually in itself a long chart and a long training by itself, and it is something that takes time as well, 2-3 hours. So but today I really wanted to share those skills and talk of a couple of the tools that can be used when we are trying to build up and trying to improvise ourselves, so that we can be better educators, we can be better learners. Both the profiles, they apply to us as well and to our students. And now, if we look into the teachers, now there are, one is your knowledge base. Knowledge base, I think nobody is going to tell you how much to learn and how to learn. It is something that we have our own goals laid out. We are all experts. You all are experts in your field. You know what is good, where to find what. But along with that, there are certain expectations from the teacher when we are teaching. Now, let's accept one thing, that our students will have always more information than us in the current scenario. They are so tech savvy that they will have more information in terms of where what is lying. If we tell them one concept, they can find 10 videos about that concept, and they can very well tell you that, oh, this is something that I've seen a video of, I'll learn it. I might not want to go ahead and listen to you in the classroom. So for the teacher, the role changes. When it changes, we become supporters rather than educators. So when we are becoming supporters, we are going ahead and having a flipped classroom. So we tell them, yes, you have everything. I'm also sharing my bit. Go through it and we'll have a discussion. That is what even blended learning, online learning is something that is propagating these days. And now next we need to be able to help them align their goals, because they are so distracted, because they have such short attention span, and because the NEP is telling them to go beyond just one core discipline. They should be able to have a learning graph, and that learning graph a teacher should be able to guide them, and we are able to guide them and help them build it up only if we have those skill sets with us, right? We give them that confidence that yes, I'm someone who can do it and I have demonstrated it, right? And of course the last one that we can talk of is help them become media literate, technology literate, and digitally literate. So in this, the what we need to tell them here, what I would say is they might have more tools with them. I might give them tasks for critical thinking. They might go ahead and control V, cut, paste, cut, copy, paste, cut, copy, paste. That is what they might do. So what we as educators will have to go ahead and equip them with will be that they need to go and become aware of what is the true legal content that they are picking up, the plagiarism aspect, the copywriting aspect, the value of original work, where to go find it, how to go ahead and work around it, what are the good, valid legal sources that they can go with, what are the sources that are available that are quality sources. So that is the kind of education that we as people will have to pass on, rather than becoming the only sole proprietors of the education now, because the world is their rooster now. The next aspect that I would like to just shortly touch upon is that as educators, when we are collaborating, we are cooperating, we are building ties, communicating, being resourceful, these are the aspects that are again soft skill aspects, but they are required from your end as a co-worker with someone who is from your own team, maybe someone who is across the teams, again NEP centric. This is something that is going to be desired from us. And how we networking in itself is a huge gambit, and it is a skill that can be very well learned. Lots of times we come across people who say, how do I network? I went there and I said hi, I've met them, I know them on the face value. But when it comes to getting a task done, or depending upon someone to pass on certain information to you, that is when that hello or hi, that knowing falls short. So networking does not really mean simply being able to go ahead and exchange cards. It goes beyond. Networking goes when you're meeting up people, you're not simply asking them, how are you? You are talking to them meaningfully about what they are doing, showing that genuine interest in what they are doing, being able to understand, having that meaningful conversation. So because when that conversation is beyond how are you, only then that becomes a rememberable affair. Only then it becomes something that can be picked up at a later time. If I'm today just talking about, hi, how are you? My name is this, your name is this, I'm doing this, and you're doing this. If it ends next time, I can guarantee you, until and unless you have a very laser sharp memory, we forget the name of the person. We might remember the face, but we would forget the name. But if you have a better conversation, you talk about what they are doing, what is the latest project that they are presenting, what is it that their aspect is in that meeting, that is something that is going to stay with us in our memory for longer. A genuine interest, and then try and find what it is that is common between the two, because that becomes a good linking point for you in future. So there are small little strategies through which we can go ahead, we can network and we can build ties that are fulfilling, that are supporting, and that stand you in good stead in the times when you really need them there. So I guess that is what majorly I wanted to talk of. Anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and ask, or you can follow, give me your observations.
Dear participants, you are free to ask questions to ma'am. Please feel free to ask questions to her.
You have any observations, anybody, you're most welcome. If you have any question, I would be happy to answer if I can.
You can put your questions in chat section, or you can directly ask her the questions. I think, ma'am, you have already explained things in such a nice way that things were made it clear, each and every aspect.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Another minute or so, please. If you have any question, go ahead and ask question to ma'am.
All right. Yes, Usha ma'am, I agree. But then I think it is something, it is actually a double-edged sword. It is something that we can use as a tool that will help us make ourselves more efficient. It will help us fine tune our programs and keep the students engaged meaningfully, so that the student decides and says that yes, the learning here is meaningful. But then yes, it is something sometimes can go the other way as well. True. Thank you so much, Shanti ma'am. Thank you. I hope I was able to put it in and make some learning points here. But then yes, each one of them, any of the soft skills that you take up, if you take up critical thinking, if you take up networking, or you take up uncovering your biases, they are actually long sessions in itself. They will take long sessions in themselves. So given an opportunity in future, maybe we'll be interacting and we will go ahead and do any of them, whichever we want in detail. It is always interesting. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So I think, ma'am, there are no more questions coming from the audience. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you for such an amazing session. And in such a short time, you have very well explained us the importance and how to use soft skills, and what are the soft skills for 21st century, especially this high order skills, double disruption. So I mean, you have in a very logical and a very organized way, you have been able to reach to the conclusion. So we really enjoyed your session, and it was very informative, very engaging session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable time with us and sharing this session with us. Thank you, and we look forward to have another session with you pretty soon. Thank you, ma'am.
Sure, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. And thank you to all the faculty members, all the members who have joined in for listening in and sharing their inputs. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you to all the participants. Thank you. We will be joining again tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your patience listening. Thank you for being a part of this faculty development program. So we have some more amazing sessions lined up in coming 3-4 days. Please join back tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice day.